Welcome back. We're April 29th here in Michigan. Looking at the springtime cover crop coming in. The old stump from last year. This one was pot for sticky glue here, 200 gallon. Smart pot. Left these cages up at the end of the year. I'm gonna be replacing all these though. I'm taking out these smaller 45 gallon pots, taking those out. Everything kind of just how we left it last year. Piles of dead stuff I gotta burn up. Falling apart. These might be a couple years old actually. These were sitting out last year from the year before. My hand doesn't go all the way around. That's 2 years old too, so it's been sitting out here decaying. But that's the kind of structure you're looking for. Try not to get this split. So you need to support them good. Cover crops in. I'm about to amend these today. Get stuff going. So we got piles of crap everywhere, leftover trash. See, this is, oh well, you can tell, but that pot got kind of smushed. It's angled off, so I don't know, have to do something here maybe. Build this up a little bit to keep the water from running off. They're kind of dry too. I've been ready to do some compost tea for them. I've got several of these thermometers. Soil temperature. What are we? Almost, we're about 46, 47. That's 6 inches down. I'm thinking around 50 degrees. I usually use that for my guide was when to plant when the night temperatures are basically 50 degrees. That's kind of how I've been doing it. Oh, that one's, I don't know if this one's any good. I don't think it is. I think that's bunk. There's another one. That one's a little smaller. My top got torn up, so luckily I've got another one. Cover crop though. Looking good. This one, we're at 50 degrees, 49, 50. That's a short one too. So that's down here where we're planting at. Some of these, most of them I want to leave them in just because of all the good worms and microbes. This is full of what you want, especially these. If you got those in there, you're doing great. Add them. If you don't have them, add them. You need it. Just gonna leave that in there for now. I thought about planting one next to it, just to leave that in place and I don't disturb. And like, here's the one from the year before. I just threw it off to the side. You can see how it's worm food now. So that's a year of rotting sitting there, and then some of these other ones I did the same thing. Just threw the root ball off to the side so I didn't lose all that stuff, and it's back in there now. This is the 45 gallon. You can kind of tell the difference of what you're going to expect to get. Oh, this one's really cropping up. Gets hairy fetch, some rye, clover. That one looks really good. I added these rocks in last year. I'm not really sure why, but just to have a little bit different dimension of life, areas that support maybe a little bit more diverse, you know, biome in there. I saw in Cali, their Appalachia, they don't use any plastics. I use quite a bit. The bamboo sticks it gets really wet here sometimes, so they're really susceptible to molding. I left this thing in when I cleared this area out. Growing up here 3 years, this will be the fourth year in these pots. 4 years ago I cut this down. You just see all the fungi breaking that down. It goes down in here. This was all wood chips. But it's all breaking down. I've brought those in 2 years out of the 3 so far. So yeah, a little tour what we got going on this year. Still early. I'm not planning on getting anything until June this year at least, because man, it just gets so big. It's hard to manage, and kind of prove to myself what we can do to maximize and everything, but I need to be more manageable for the workload and everything. It's just really overwhelming, especially with doing indoor at the same time. It's the amount of work. So gonna plant maybe a month later this year. Hopefully the veg won't be as explosive. I'm sure I'll still get 8x8 plants. A lot of these I'm gonna take down. It was a little bit of an issue with the metal. When the branch lays on this, and then the wind and everything with it moving, it rubs a raw spot on the branch. And when you got all these trees and stuff, you got leaves falling in. September last year was really an issue for me, and it was all right. I should have preventive sprayed a little earlier, but I think getting rid of this metal cage somehow, or minimizing it, might help me a little bit. We noticed a lot of those spots that were rubbing. It was like a starting point for that. So this was kind of interesting. I got all this moss. I don't know if that's, or is that roots from just moss. This is a 45-gallon pot too. That was a pretty good sized one. Let's see what we got going on in here. I'm gonna do veggies in these in the veggie garden this year. Wow, nice root ball on that. That's about big as my my fist. But man, that thing is solid of roots. Not seeing worms yet, and this really, it's still kind of cold in there, so might be a little early. But yeah, this is full of all the mycorrhiza and all that you really want. So yeah, these wood chips, I just saw Kelly Roan's video. I mean, want to go fishing? Just go rake you up a couple feet of this. And the reason I did wood chips was because I couldn't plant in the ground. That's some nice dark soil though. It's been broken down. I'd say there's a good 6-8 inches, and there's just more worms, more worms. Every little inch I dig. So it's really clay here. So these wood chips, I heard if you break them down for about 5 years, you get about 6 to 8 inches of good loamy soil under there, and it's really looking like it's doing its job. I got another load of wood chips this year. I'm gonna put them on top. My original plan was to do 5 years on these and then plant in the ground, so I think I'm just gonna stick with it the way these pots are looking. They're still okay. I got a couple issues where I was being a dumbass and did something and messed the bag up or whatever, but for the most part these are holding in really good. And all these, the roots go right through the bottom. They go into the soil, or in this case in the wood chips. So all these plants are communicating through these fungal networks. Hyphae running through all this. But all right guys, I blabbed on long enough. Hope you're getting your gardens prepped. We can get this 2022 year off on the right step. Peace out.